Okay, I'm going to teach you how to use the viewer. This is the website right up here. This is where you want to log in. I'll send you the login information. Okay, so I'm going to show you where this brings us. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Now this is a filtered list, so this one's already been filtered. This is a small list, so I'm going to use this to kind of show you what to do. Even though we might not buy any here, we might. Um, we'll get to the filtering later. So I'm going to click on View Entire List. These are all the tax liens properties available. Okay. Now you see that one? That's a good one right there because it's got a property on it. It's got a house on it. I'm interested in ones that have a house. It's got a very low bid. If you want to see the house up closer, then if there's a blue line, you can do the street view from Google Map. That looks like the house right there. Or if it's the same, no, that's different. So sometimes the Google Map is hard to set up because the house might be off the beaten path. Now that looks like it might be up there. You got to kind of view it from the street view here and try to figure which one it is. Okay, but it's got a structure on it, so I'm interested. So I would at least drive by it. Okay, that's what we're doing, making a list of places I can drive by and then decide which ones I'm going to buy. Now these are just for the liens. I still have to go through a foreclosure if I actually want the house, which costs about $4,000 to $5,000. So if the house ain't worth 10 or 15, it's not worth doing. So you would click Add to Bid List on that one. Okay. This is a big piece of property behind some houses, which I would be interested in because these people might be interested in buying that property so they can have a bigger property. So I would add that to the list because it's behind or close to another property. This one has a house. Minimum bid's $2,000. The house could be worth 10. It's just a kind of little area, so houses don't go for much. But I would add that to the list. This is a big piece of land, so you can see where it is. You can zoom out. It's right behind this guy's house. Big piece of property. I would add it to the list because it's cheap. And then I have to make sure there's not a mine or something there, because if there's a mine, it could be polluted with arsenic. You don't want to buy polluted land. That's one big no-no. So, but we'd add it to the list, and then I'll check that out later. This, I would definitely, I don't know, it's not that big. They owe $5,000. That means it's going to cost me $10,000. It's not worth that much. So remove that. If it was a commercial property, it'd be a different story. Some of these take a while to load up, and I don't know why. I usually just skip to the next one if it takes too long. It means it's corrupted or something. Now this is a big piece of property. It's $6,000, but it's got a house, 2 acres. I would definitely add that to the list. Now this is probably a piece of land out in the middle of nowhere. So you go down and that's not letting me zoom out for some reason. Oh, there it is. You know, if it's a huge piece of land. It is 70 acres. I would add that to the list. The bid is $31. Just for the cost of the land, I would do it. There's another piece of land, 1 acre, $111. So it's worth maybe doing the foreclosure at $5,000. I would add that to the list. So I'm going to let you finish this up. $69. It's almost an acre. Add that to the list. This is $245. It looks like it's a piece of somebody's property. I would add that to the list because people always want to buy their own property. So go ahead through the rest of this and do what I'm doing. If it's a big piece of land and it's close to everything and it's seems like a good price, like this one is. I mean, this guy would probably love to have this property. I could own a finance it to him. I would add that to the list. There's another piece of land. It's definitely next to a house. And this guy might like to have that property. And the bid is very low. So let's add that to the list. Yep. This one, well, this one's $2,300. So that means it's going to cost me about $8,000 to get this property. The average cost of foreclosure is about $5,000, and I have to foreclose on these. Pay the past due taxes, foreclose to get the land. So I would at least drive by this. I would add it to the list. If it was out in the middle of nowhere, like on a mountain, and the roads aren't close, then I would skip it. Okay. This one here, let's see where it is. This is 3 acres. So it's going to cost me about $5,000 with the tax, $117. I would add that to the list. Now, mind you, I don't even know where this town is. I've never been there. Oh, this is St. David. Now, see, that's a piece of land with a wash in it. But it has a good amount of buildable property right here. And it's behind somebody's house. And they might like to own that. So I would add that to the list. Same with this, $37, add it to the list. Now some of these might already be sold, but we'll find out. Cheap, $91, add this to the list. That's got a structure on it, looks like a mobile home, $300, add it to the list. Same thing, this is probably worth looking at, it's got a house on it. $95, it's next to another house, add it to the list. Okay, so I did half of 40. Go ahead and do the rest. I'm going to stop here and see how you do.